Beloved soul, before your thoughts rush toward fear, sadness, or emotional pressure, pause gently for a moment and take a slow breath, because this message is not about panic or urgency. It is about love, memory, healing, and the quiet emotional connections that continue living inside our hearts long after someone we deeply cared about is no longer physically beside us. Sometimes certain memories return unexpectedly, not to hurt us, but to remind us how deeply we once loved, how meaningful certain connections were, and how those moments still shape parts of who we are becoming today. You may have experienced quiet moments when someone suddenly crossed your mind for no clear reason at all. A familiar voice remembered in silence. A small habit that still makes you smile. A song that instantly brings emotion back into your heart. These moments can feel powerful because meaningful connections leave emotional fingerprints on the soul that time cannot completely erase. Even after life changes, certain people continue living within us through memories, lessons, warmth, and the emotional impact they left behind. There may have been nights when you silently missed someone while pretending to be emotionally strong around others. You may have carried grief or emotional longing in ways people around you never fully understood. Some emotions remain private because the connection was deeply personal. And while time may help soften certain pain, love itself often stays quietly alive within the heart. That does not mean you are meant to stay trapped in sadness. It means your heart experienced something real, meaningful, and deeply human. The calmer your inner world becomes, the more peacefully you begin understanding your memories. Instead of only focusing on emotional loss, you begin appreciating the love, wisdom, and meaningful moments certain people brought into your life. Your thoughts become softer. Your emotions feel lighter. And slowly, your heart begins learning that healing does not mean forgetting someone important. Healing means learning how to carry love and memory without allowing pain to completely take away your peace. There may have been moments when you questioned why life allows meaningful people to leave while memories remain so strong inside us. Those questions may have stayed quietly within your heart for a long time, but now something deeper is beginning to shift within you. You are starting to understand that some people continue shaping our lives even after time passes because the emotional connection was genuine. The kindness they showed, the lessons they taught, the comfort they gave, and the love they shared continue influencing the way we see life, relationships, and ourselves. You may also begin noticing that your heart has become stronger than you once believed. There were moments when emotional pain felt impossible to carry, moments when loneliness or grief made your spirit feel tired, but somehow you continued moving forward. Even during difficult days, your heart kept searching for peace, understanding, healing, and emotional balance. That quiet resilience within you matters deeply because it reveals how much strength your spirit truly carries. At the same time, there is a growing sense of calmness returning to your emotional world. You are no longer feeling emotionally controlled by overwhelming sadness or fear of remembering the past. Instead, you are beginning to focus more on gratitude, emotional awareness, healing, and peaceful reflection. This shift matters because it allows your memories to become a source of warmth and wisdom instead of only emotional pain. You may also notice that your awareness is becoming more intentional and emotionally mature. You are beginning to value meaningful conversations, supportive relationships, peaceful moments, and emotional honesty more deeply than before. Experiences of love and loss often teach us what truly matters in life. They remind us to appreciate people while we still can, to express kindness more openly, and to protect the emotional connections that genuinely bring peace into our hearts. As you continue reflecting on this message, allow yourself to fully embrace the emotional warmth quietly growing within you. Not every memory needs to bring sadness. Some memories are reminders that your heart was capable of real love, meaningful connection, and beautiful emotional experiences that became part of your journey forever. And even if certain people are no longer physically present in your life, the impact they left within your spirit can still guide you toward compassion, healing, emotional wisdom, and inner peace. Stay connected to this understanding. Trust the emotional strength growing within you. This message is not here to create fear or emotional pressure. It is here to remind you that love, memory, and emotional connection still hold meaning within your life, and your heart is still capable of healing, gratitude, emotional growth, and beautiful moments moving forward. And as you continue walking through life with that awareness, you will begin noticing that your thoughts become calmer, your emotions become steadier, and your spirit slowly reconnects with the peaceful and emotionally grounded life you truly deserve. Beloved soul, as you continue staying present with this message, you may begin noticing something deeper is quietly awakening within your heart, because what first felt like sadness or emotional longing is now becoming a much calmer understanding about love, memory, healing, and the invisible emotional connections that continue shaping us long after certain people are no longer physically beside us. You are beginning to realize that meaningful love does not disappear simply because time moves forward. The people who truly touched our hearts often remain connected to us through memories, emotions, lessons, and quiet moments of reflection that unexpectedly return when we need them most. You may begin remembering small moments you once overlooked, simple conversations, comforting words, familiar laughter, or peaceful moments that now feel more meaningful than they once did. Sometimes the heart holds on to ordinary memories more deeply than dramatic ones because those quiet moments carried real emotional warmth and connection. There may have been days when you wished you could revisit certain memories just one more time, not to change the past, but simply to feel close to those emotions again. And even though those moments can sometimes bring sadness, they also remind you how deeply your heart was capable of loving and caring for someone. There may have been periods in your life when grief or emotional loss felt difficult to explain to others. You may have smiled in front of people while quietly carrying emotional heaviness inside your heart. Some losses affect us silently. They change the way we think, the way we feel, and even the way we view time itself. You may have felt emotionally exhausted trying to move forward, while still carrying memories that continued appearing unexpectedly in your mind, but now something within you is beginning to shift. You are starting to understand that healing does not mean forgetting someone important. Healing means learning how to carry love and memory in a way that no longer destroys your peace. The calmer your inner world becomes, the more gently you begin understanding your emotions. Instead of only focusing on sadness or emotional absence, you begin appreciating the love, wisdom, and emotional impact certain people left within your life. Your thoughts become softer. Your memories begin feeling warmer. And instead of allowing grief to completely control your emotional world, you begin creating space for gratitude, emotional healing, and peaceful reflection. This shift matters deeply because it allows your heart to remember love without becoming trapped inside pain forever. There may have been moments when you questioned why certain people entered your life only to eventually leave it. You may have wondered why meaningful connections sometimes feel temporary even when the emotional impact lasts forever. Those questions may have stayed quietly within your heart for a long time, but now a deeper understanding is beginning to grow within you. You are realizing that some people enter our journey not to stay forever, but to leave behind lessons, love, emotional growth, and memories that continue shaping who we become for the rest of our lives. This realization softens emotional pain because it allows you to focus not only on loss, but also on the beauty of having experienced meaningful connection at all. You may also begin feeling a stronger sense of emotional strength developing within yourself, not something loud or dramatic, but something calm, steady, and deeply real. It is the strength that comes from realizing that even after emotional pain, grief, or loneliness, your heart continued moving forward. You survived difficult nights, emotional memories, and moments when you thought healing would never truly happen. Yet somehow, step by step, you kept going. This realization creates emotional stability within your heart because it reminds you that your spirit is stronger and more resilient than you sometimes believe. At the same time, there is a growing sense of emotional calmness returning to your life. You are no longer feeling emotionally controlled by overwhelming sadness or constant emotional heaviness. Instead, you are beginning to focus more on gratitude, emotional awareness, peaceful reflection, and trust in your healing process. This shift matters because it allows you to move through life with greater emotional steadiness and less emotional exhaustion. You may also notice that your awareness is becoming more intentional and emotionally mature. You are beginning to value emotional honesty, meaningful conversations, peaceful moments, and supportive relationships more deeply than before. Experiences of love and loss often teach us what truly matters in life. They remind us to appreciate people while we still can, to express kindness more openly, and to protect the emotional connections that genuinely bring peace into our lives. As you continue sitting with this message, allow yourself to fully embrace the emotional warmth quietly growing within you. That warmth matters because it means your heart is slowly learning how to remember love without becoming completely overwhelmed by pain. You are beginning to understand that meaningful memories do not exist to destroy your peace. They exist because your heart experienced something real, something valuable, and something deeply human. Stay connected to this understanding. Trust the emotional healing growing within your heart. This message is not here to create sadness or emotional fear. It is here to remind you that love, memory, healing, and emotional connection still hold meaning within your life, and your heart is still capable of peace, gratitude, emotional growth, and beautiful moments moving forward. And as you continue walking through life with that awareness, you will begin noticing that your thoughts become calmer, your emotions become steadier, and your spirit slowly reconnects with the emotional peace and healing you truly deserve. Beloved soul, as you move deeper into this message, you may begin feeling a quiet transformation taking place within your heart and mind, because what once felt like emotional heaviness, longing, or sadness is now becoming a much deeper understanding about healing, gratitude, love, and the peaceful way meaningful memories continue living within us long after certain moments have passed. You are beginning to realize that the people who truly touched your heart never completely disappear from your emotional world. Their words, their kindness, their laughter, and even the small ordinary moments you once shared continue shaping parts of who you are becoming today. This understanding slowly changes the way you experience memory itself, because instead of only feeling pain, you begin recognizing the beauty hidden inside emotional connection. You may begin noticing how often certain memories return during quiet moments in your life. Sometimes it happens unexpectedly while listening to music, walking alone, looking at old photographs, or simply sitting in silence while your mind drifts toward the past. Certain people leave emotional fingerprints on the heart that time cannot fully erase. There may have been moments when remembering them brought overwhelming sadness, moments when you wished life could pause just long enough for one more conversation, one more smile, or one more peaceful moment together, but now something within you is beginning to shift. You are starting to understand that meaningful love continues existing through memory, through emotional impact, and through the quiet ways those experiences continue guiding your heart even today. The calmer your inner world becomes, the more gently you begin understanding your emotions. Instead of fighting your memories or trying to completely avoid emotional reflection, you begin observing your feelings with greater patience and emotional maturity. Your thoughts become softer. Your emotions become easier to process. And instead of allowing grief or sadness to completely control your peace, you begin creating space for gratitude, emotional healing, and compassionate understanding. This shift matters deeply because healing does not happen by pretending certain people or memories never mattered. Healing happens when your heart slowly learns how to remember with love instead of constant emotional pain. There may have been periods in your life when emotional loss changed the way you saw yourself and the world around you. You may have felt emotionally disconnected from others because certain grief was too personal to fully explain. Some pain remains silent. Some emotions stay hidden behind smiles and normal conversations because not everyone understands the depth of what your heart has carried. You may have spent long periods quietly trying to stay strong while still holding emotional heaviness inside you, but now a deeper understanding is beginning to grow within your heart. You are realizing that your healing deserves patience. Your emotions deserve kindness. And your peace matters just as much as the memories you continue carrying with you. The meaning of emotional connection becomes much more powerful as you begin understanding that love is not measured only by how long someone stays physically beside us. Sometimes the deepest connections continue shaping our lives through memory, emotional lessons, and the impact certain people leave on our hearts forever. This understanding changes the way you experience grief because instead of only focusing on absence, you begin recognizing the emotional gifts, wisdom, and meaningful moments that still remain within you. You may also begin feeling a stronger sense of emotional strength developing within yourself, not something loud or dramatic, but something calm, steady, and deeply real. It is the strength that comes from realizing that even after emotional pain, loneliness, or loss, your heart continued moving forward. You survived moments when healing felt impossible. You survived nights filled with emotional memories and silent sadness. Yet somehow, step by step, You kept going. This realization creates emotional stability within your heart because it reminds you that your spirit is stronger and more resilient than you once believed. At the same time, there is a growing sense of emotional calmness returning to your life. You are no longer feeling emotionally controlled by overwhelming sadness or constant emotional heaviness. Instead, you are beginning to focus more on gratitude, emotional awareness, peaceful reflection, and trust in your healing process. This shift matters because it allows you to move through life with greater emotional steadiness and less emotional exhaustion. You may also notice that your awareness is becoming more intentional and emotionally mature. You are beginning to value meaningful conversations, peaceful moments, supportive relationships, and emotional honesty more deeply than before. Experiences of love and loss often teach us what truly matters in life. They remind us to appreciate people while we still can, to express kindness more openly, and to protect the emotional connections that genuinely bring peace into our lives. As this part settles within your heart, recognize how much your understanding of love and healing is changing. You are beginning to realize that meaningful memories are not here to destroy your peace. They exist because your heart experienced something real, something valuable, and something deeply human. This realization changes the way you experience healing because it allows you to carry love forward without allowing pain to completely control your emotional world. Stay connected to this understanding. Allow yourself to fully embrace the emotional calmness growing within you. This message is not here to create sadness or emotional fear. It is here to remind you that love, memory, healing, and emotional connection still hold meaning within your life, and your heart is still capable of peace, gratitude, emotional growth, and beautiful moments moving forward. And as you continue walking through life with that awareness, you will begin noticing that your thoughts become calmer, your emotions become steadier, and your spirit slowly reconnects with the emotional peace and healing you truly deserve. Beloved soul, as you arrive at this final part of the message, everything that once felt emotionally heavy, painful, or difficult to fully understand now begins settling into a much calmer and clearer understanding within you, because you are no longer looking at love and memory only through sadness or emotional loss. You are beginning to see them through gratitude, healing, emotional wisdom, and the quiet strength your heart developed while carrying those experiences through different seasons of your life. What once felt like emotional emptiness is now becoming a realization that meaningful connections never truly disappear from the heart. They continue living through memory, through emotional lessons, through the kindness you now carry within yourself, and through the quiet ways certain people continue shaping your life even after time has moved forward. There is a quiet understanding growing within your heart, not of something dramatic suddenly changing overnight, but of something that has slowly been healing within you all along. You are beginning to understand that emotional healing changes the way you experience memory itself. The calmer your inner world becomes, the more peacefully you begin remembering the people who mattered deeply to you. Instead of only focusing on loss, your heart slowly begins recognizing the love, warmth, and meaningful experiences that existed within those connections. This shift matters because emotional healing does not erase memory. It transforms the way memory lives inside your heart. You may now notice that your thoughts feel softer and more peaceful than before. They are no longer moving through endless cycles of emotional heaviness, regret, or painful questioning about things you cannot change. Instead, they are allowing you to reflect more deeply on the moments that genuinely mattered. The emotional lessons you learned, and the love that helped shape parts of who you are today. Your emotions feel more balanced, not because sadness completely disappears, but because you are learning how to remember meaningful people without allowing grief to completely control your peace. This awareness becomes your emotional strength moving forward because it helps you carry love with gentleness instead of emotional exhaustion. There was a time when emotional loss may have made you feel disconnected from yourself and the world around you. You may have spent long periods silently carrying memories that no one else fully understood. Certain nights may have felt heavier than others. Certain moments may have reopened emotions you thought had already healed. You may have wondered if your heart would ever fully feel peaceful again, but now something within you has changed. You are beginning to understand that healing is not about forgetting someone important or pretending emotional pain never existed. Healing is about learning how to continue living while still honoring the love and emotional connection that once meant so much to your heart. This realization replaces emotional heaviness with emotional compassion and peace. You may also begin to feel a deeper sense of emotional strength developing within yourself, not something loud or dramatic, but something calm, steady, and deeply meaningful. It is the strength that comes from realizing that even after grief, loneliness, emotional confusion, or painful memories, your heart continued moving forward. You survived moments when healing felt impossible. You survived quiet emotional battles that most people never saw. And step by step, your spirit slowly kept searching for peace, understanding, and emotional balance again. This realization creates emotional stability within your heart because it reminds you that your healing journey has already brought you much farther than you sometimes realize. At the same time, there is a growing sense of stillness returning to your mind and emotions. You are no longer feeling emotionally controlled by overwhelming sadness or trapped inside memories that constantly reopen pain. You are becoming more present, more emotionally grounded, and more connected to what genuinely matters for your peace and well-being. This stillness becomes your emotional strength because it allows you to move through life with greater clarity instead of carrying constant emotional exhaustion inside your heart. You may also begin noticing that your focus is becoming more meaningful and emotionally mature. You are less attached to emotional heaviness and more connected to gratitude, healing, awareness, patience, and compassionate understanding. You are beginning to recognize which thoughts genuinely support your peace and which ones continue reopening emotional wounds unnecessarily. This shift changes the way you experience life because it allows you to protect your emotional peace while still remaining open to meaningful relationships, joyful experiences, healing conversations, supportive people, and personal growth. As this final part settles within you, recognize that you are not being asked to forget the people who mattered deeply to your heart. You are being guided to understand that love can continue existing peacefully within you without constantly bringing emotional pain. Your memories are not here to destroy your peace. They exist because your heart experienced something real, something meaningful, and something deeply human. This message is not about sadness. It is about healing, emotional clarity, gratitude, and the quiet strength that grows when your heart learns how to carry love and memory with peace instead of emotional suffering. And as you continue moving forward with this understanding, you will begin realizing that your life is not shaped only by loss or painful moments from the past. It is shaped by your awareness, your emotional resilience, your compassion, and your willingness to continue healing while carrying meaningful memories with love and balance. You are no longer reacting automatically to emotional pain or sadness. You are learning how to move through life with calmness, wisdom, emotional steadiness, and trust in the peaceful future still waiting to unfold before you. You are no longer feeling emotionally overwhelmed by every memory. You are becoming more peaceful, more grounded, and more deeply connected to your inner clarity and emotional healing. And that emotional peace will continue guiding you forward in a way that feels balanced, meaningful, and beautifully aligned with the calm, emotionally strong, and healing person you are becoming. Comment, love and memories live in my heart, if this resonates. Like this video to honor healing, love, and emotional peace. Subscribe for more deep, peaceful messages that guide your journey.